I wake up to find my head ringing with a pounding headache, the kind you get when you spend too much time at the bar drinking Amasek. Slowly, I sit up, feeling every muscle and joint ache in protest. The movement sends a throbbing pain through my skull, and I gingerly feel around for the source of the irritation. I wince as I find it, a tender spot just at the base of my crown. My fingers come away with dried blood, and I wipe it on the floor. I push my hands underneath and force myself to my feet, the world swaying unsteadily beneath me. Warily, I glance around, looking for a familiar face. That's when I realize it. Ari is nowhere to be seen. The realization hits me like a bucket of cold water, and suddenly I am alert and fully awake. An insidious, creeping dread begins to take hold. My hands roam over my body, taking stock of everything, making sure I am still intact. To my surprise, I find that I am still dressed in my manufactorum uniform. The fabric is coarse, but familiar. A strange comfort amidst this growing sense of unease building within me. As I move to scratch the fabric chafing my skin, another realization hits me. I am not bound. My hands and feet remain free, allowing me to move and walk about the room. Strange. Had I been a prisoner, I should have been tied up, or at the very least, chained against the wall. As the pain in my head slowly fades away, and I manage to blink away the stars floating in my vision, I take in my surroundings. I'm in a small, cramped room, the kind of space that might have served as an office or a study. The windows are boarded up, blocking what little light comes from the levels above. The stone walls are grimy and covered in dust, streaked with the residue of years of neglect. There's a scent in the air, of mildew and decay, that makes me crinkle my nose in disgust. Like a drunk man, I stumble to the door, willing the stones beneath my feet to stop swaying. I reach for the knob, half expecting it to open, but the door doesn't budge. I'm locked in, and the unease that has been growing since I regained consciousness redoubles. It sinks deep in my gut and I feel sick. I furrow my brow, willing my sluggish brain to recall how I ended up in this emperor-forsaken place. The memories come back to my mind piecemeal, like trying to sift water through my fingers. I remember Ari leading me to the elevator and the unease I felt as we descended into the depths of Hive Argentum. I remember the sight of the God Emperor's church, its holy symbols defaced and ruined, replaced by strange symbols and idols. And then I remember him, the leader, the man Ari had called the Patriarch, the thing sitting on the throne. That last memory stands out the clearest. It is distinct, bright, burning with a sharp clarity in my thoughts. The image floats there, and I can't shake it. The sight of him, his unsettlingly pale skin, the elongated features of his head, and those black, fathomless eyes that seem to stare straight into my soul. Even now, a residue of his presence lingers within me. He's like a phantom, haunting the corners of my thoughts. He fills me with a strange tangle of emotions, fear, confusion, and a bizarre, unsettling sense of fascination that I can't explain. What in the name of the God Emperor have I gotten myself into? I try to take a grip on my fear, forcing myself to breathe slowly. I push past the fog of pain and uncertainty and focus on my priorities. There has to be a reason I am locked in here, but the truth of that escapes me. More important is the question of what I'm supposed to do next. I begin to deliberately pace around the room, further taking in my surroundings. The room itself doesn't bother me. It's cramped, but it's also no bigger than my room back in the hair block on the upper levels. Strange to think of it that way now. Truth is, I'm used to small spaces, to confinement, both the physical and emotional varieties. None of that bothers me in any way. What does claw at my sanity is the waiting, the enforced idleness, the sensation of wanting to do something, but being denied the simplicity of choice. It gnaws at me, digs its claws deep into my thoughts. I need something, anything to latch onto, but nothing presents itself. I can't escape. The door is locked tight, and the window is sealed shut. I may not be bound, but I'm still a prisoner. I walk in circles, my patience wearing thin. My footsteps echo off the wooden floors, creaking with each step. The movement, the sound, both are small comforts to me. They remind me that I still exist. There's a point where I actually dig my fingers in the wood blocking the window, hoping to find a loose board. But it's useless. I only end up wasting energy and what little hope I have left. I feel anger bubbling deep inside me, and I let out a string of curses, words sharp enough to make an ecclesiarch blush. The irony of swearing like that in a place where he on Terra was once worshipped is not lost on me. The weight of everything starts to press in on me, the cramped room feeling like the walls are shrinking, trying to swallow me whole. The sense of purpose and curiosity that had driven me to follow Ari down here starts to fade, but I grasp hold of it. That purpose, that unknown knowledge, the promise of better things to come is all I have left. I gnaw at it, like a grox on a bit. I keep moving, keep pacing around in circles, trying to understand the why and the how of it all. Eventually, what feels like hours pass, and my exhaustion begins to take its toll. My pacing slows, as the suffocating weight of despair begins to drag me down. As I lean, slumped against the wall, a sharp memory pierces through the fog. One of the guards. I had tried to speak to the Patriarch. I had stepped forward, my mind filled with questions that needed answering, but before I could formulate my thoughts into words, the guard had struck me with the stock of his last gun. The blow had sent me spiraling to the floor, the pain causing me to black out. Then I had woken here, in this room. The pain in my head, the fog in my mind. I realize now that it must be a concussion, suffered when I took the blow to my head. Just as the boredom and exhaustion threaten to consume me, the doorknob twists. The door opens, slowly, and time seems to slow down. I freeze in place, every muscle in my body tensing as my flight or fight response kicks in. My exhaustion is suddenly forced to the back of my mind. My hands slowly ball into fists. If they plan on killing me, I'm going to make them fight for it, Emperor, damn it. I'm not going to my death like a grox to the slaughter. As I raise my hands ready to strike whatever unfortunate soul walks through the door, I abruptly stop. My guard drops immediately. The person standing in the doorway, it's Ari. With the light from the hallway adding to the minuscule amount of light I have in the room, I can see her a little more clearly now. She's dressed in the robes I had seen her wear when we met at the elevator, but now the details are more profound. The difference between the work clothes in the manufactorum and the garments she's wearing now could not be more profound. The clothing is made from a purple fabric that appears silky in texture, form-fitting, accentuating her figure. Her upper torso is covered with a battered carapace chest piece that gives her form a battle-worn yet strangely regal appearance. Her presence has a sense of power about it now that wasn't there before, something authoritative and commanding. In her hand, she clutches a brass staff, not dissimilar to that which the Patriarch had been holding. Its top is crested with a symbol, a smaller twin of the larger staff wielded by that enigmatic figure. She walks towards me, slowly, each step measured and careful. She's wary around me, and she has every right to be. Her gaze never wavers from mine. There's a deep confidence in them, an ease that belies the gravity of the situation. When she reaches me, her hand extends, and she gently places it against my cheek. The touch is soft, tender almost, filled with concern. But there's something different, something harder about them. The compassion is there, but it's being held back, carefully controlled. As her eyes bore into mine, a soothing pressure begins to ease down my emotions, easing my pain, washing away my uncertainty.
"Easy, Barddus,"
she says softly. Within her voice is a calming sense of both authority and assurance that I find hard to resist.
"You are in no real danger."
Her words flow into me, flooding my mind with calm. I start to relax, and my fists fall to my side, my fingers unclenching. Yet even as I calm down, uncertainty still lingers in my thoughts. If, as she says, I'm not in danger, then why all of this? Why lock me in a room? The secrecy, the strange, almost telepathic connection I feel when my eyes make contact with hers. All of these questions push to the fore, but are gently eased back by that powerful gaze. It's almost as if she's soothing my thoughts, nudging them aside, making them lose their edge.
You're curious. That's natural,
she says, her words echoing my thoughts and inner turmoil almost perfectly. There's a brief moment here where I question if my thoughts are even my own. Am I so open to her? Are the inner workings of my mind that obvious? There's an unsettling overlap where the thoughts in my head begin and hers end. It's as if our minds are melding together, and I almost can no longer tell who I am anymore.
We had to be sure, Barddus. You came here at my word alone.
Her fingers move from my cheek to the back of my forehead, gently touching the spot on the temple where I had been struck. I wince away at the memory of the blow, and her eyes harden.
I wish they had not done that.
Her voice softening with what seems like genuine regret. The sincerity in her voice eases what remaining tension I had left, causing me to relax entirely. Her concern is a balm to my frayed nerves, a comforting presence that soothes the chaos tormenting my mind. But then, with an alarming change of pace, she steps back. This shift from the close, almost intimate compassion she had shown only seconds earlier is jarring to my senses. When she speaks again, her voice is measured and controlled.
So, you have questions?
Once again, the concern in my eyes is pushed back behind. Ari, my friend and co-worker, is no longer present. Ari the Magi stands before me now.
I have been given leave by the Patriarch to answer some of them.
This is it then. The moment I have been waiting for with dreaded anticipation. This is the moment where I get the answers that I've been searching for. The scratch for the itch given to me by that dream that has consumed my every waking thought. The one burning its way through my mind now is the one that had me end up in this room to begin with. The Patriarch. The man who both fills me with loathing and hope. The one that makes my inner self recoil and shrink away, yet makes the man I realize I am slowly becoming to want to know more. Who is he? I ask tentatively. A long silence stretches between us. I can see it in her eyes. She's debating how much to tell me, how much she can trust me. I can feel the anticipation building within me. I want to know. The answer to this question will give me an inkling of just how deeply enmeshed in this I have become, this madness that I've become caught up in. Finally, Ari speaks, her voice calm and measured.
He is our holy messenger,
she says. There's a reverence to her voice, a sense of awe that I was not expecting.
Liberators are coming to Argentum Prime, Barddus. They are powerful, beyond our comprehension. More powerful than the Emperor. More powerful than even his avenging angels.
Her voice is calm, quiet, respectful. She is filled with a sense of wonder and a palpable aura of hope. So much, in fact, that I even begin to feel it seep into my bones.
The true angels are coming, and the Patriarch is their herald. He has come to prepare the way.
The reverence in her voice sends a nervous chill down my spine. The implications of what she speaks of are staggering. Liberators, more powerful than the God Emperor. The thought carries with it a weight that my mind refuses to acknowledge. The mere idea of me considering it is blasphemy of the highest order. Yet Ari's tone draws me in. I can feel the sincere, earnest nature of her belief. It is so powerful, so potent, I can almost touch it. In only a few sentences, Ari has effectively denied the Emperor his divinity. She has slandered the name of his angels. She has even implied that the God Emperor of mankind has limits to his holy power. Every instinct within me screams against what I'm hearing. The presence of my past, my years of learning and indoctrination demand that I recoil from this, reject it for the apostasy that it is. But then I remember the Patriarch. his presence and the power I felt when he laid his gaze upon me. Never once had I felt such power before, not in a chapel, and certainly not from those who claim to speak for the Emperor. The words Ari speaks, they stir within me a strange and powerful conflict. To even consider her words goes against everything I have been taught and led to believe. Yet despite all of this, I feel a strange pull towards her, as if there is a part of me that wants to believe her. I want to believe in something beyond myself, something tangible, something besides the drudgery and misery that has become my everyday life. A part of me wants to seize upon the lifeline she is offering, but another part asks a simple question: at what cost? Heresy. The word escapes my lips in a hushed whisper, barely even a word. Almost as if speaking it aloud, the word fills me with an ingrained sense of anger. The sensation becomes tangible as the weight of the accusation I made sinks in. I raise a shaking, damning finger in her direction, and with every ounce of my will, I shout, "Heresy!" This time, my voice cracks under the strain. Despair, disappointment, and resentment courses through me. "You're a heretic!" I bellow. My arms shake violently, the accusation hanging in the air like an ugly thing. My voice breaks on the last word, as if the pressure is too much to bear, the revelation too great, my mind unwilling to bear the truth. Suddenly, my nausea returns with a vengeance, and I feel the ground sway beneath me. I stumble forward, trying to regain my balance as my sense of self is sent reeling, as if I had taken a physical blow. Everything that I am, everything I have been brought to believe is being brought into question. The fear, the anger, the confusion, it all swirls in my mind like a swarm of angry buzzing flies. I am in too deep. I cannot unhear what I have learned. My entire world is unraveling at the seams like a thread pulled too tightly. I grasp at it, flailing for any sense of foundation within my own mind. But it escapes me, like trying to catch smoke in a net. I feel as if I'm about to fall to the ground, buried under the burden of knowledge. But before I collapse, Ari catches me with one arm. Her strength is surprising, and I am reminded of how robust she is. Her grip is firm but gentle, supporting me as if she understands what I'm feeling. Her eyes meet mine. There's no anger at my accusation, no judgment, just compassion that is both soothing and unsettling.
Not heresy. Truth. What he brings us is real, Barddus. The liberators will come. He has seen it. The Patriarch has shown me.
Her conviction is unnerving. She is a bastion against the chaos threatening to overwhelm my mind. She speaks with an unshakable faith, a certainty that I can't quantify. It's that raw faith and passion that disarms me more than anything else. I've seen it before, when priests preach their empty sermons. This, however, is filled with passion and energy. There's a belief in it that goes beyond mere flesh. It's infectious in its own way. The more Ari speaks, the more I feel my own resolve begin to crumble. In the face of her faith, my accusation seems more like a child speaking out because he's hearing a truth that he does not want to know. The word heresy lingers in my mind, but now it's only a whisper, receding back into the darker places of my heart. She gently lowers me to the ground, allowing me to sit with my back against the cold, unfeeling stone. She straightens, her posture becoming more erect. She leans heavily against her staff, her eyes still blazing with that potent mixture of faith and conviction.
What has the Imperium done for you, Barddus?
Her question is pointed like a knife and drives deep into the heart of my doubts.
You are unique, not like the others who blindly follow him. You think for yourself, you even question.
She straightens up, and for the first time I see anger in those eyes.
You think and they break you down. You work and they make you feel the lash. Is it so wrong to turn from such abuse and seek something better?
There it is. the core of why I'm here. Broken and beaten, all hope driven from my life, the same existence every single day. The call of the horns, the life we are all forced to live. Memories flood deep within me. There was a time when I thought initiative and ingenuity would be rewarded. But she's right. Rather than reward me, they beat me down, crushed me, lashed me, and tore my body apart with endless, grueling work. That same work took the life of my father and his father before him. I watched all my life as those who lacked skill or dedication, but had connections or sharp tongues use their influence to climb over people like me. As they rose, I fell, left to toil in the muck and grime, the work beating me down until I was almost nothing. Ari seems to sense the direction of my thoughts, as if my mind is open to her. Her eyes narrow, boring into my soul with the same intensity as the Patriarch had.
I know you believe as I do, Barddus,
she says, and in doing so, becomes complicit in my resentment.
I know you see the corruption.
There's an undeniable amount of bitterness in her voice, but that changes to fervent hope with her next words.
What if I told you the Liberators can take all that away? They promise to end this misery. The Patriarch has foretold it. The serfs will rise up and take the mantle of kings. The world will burn to ashes as the Liberators purge the corruption. Purity will rise from the remains, reborn and renewed. A paradise, a world, and a future of endless promise.
The words sound like a prophecy and scripture. I've never heard the like before. They kindle something deep within me, a spark of rebellion that I've tried so hard to repress, to ignore. A feeling that over the years became buried against a lifetime of indoctrination. But even as these thoughts begin to take root, a part of me is repulsed by the idea. The fire she speaks of so fervently, the world, our world, the Liberators' plan to burn. It's seductive. It whispers of hope, freedom, even power, all the things I've desired, but been forced to live without. Yet there is a small flicker of doubt. A question in the back of my mind persists. What will be left of the world when the flames have finished their work? Will there even be a world left to rebuild? I look up, trying to piece together the question and form it into words. But Ari's gaze silences me. Her conviction is unwavering, her resolve rock solid. Under the weight of that gaze, I feel my own doubts wavering. Under the bright hope of this new possibility, this promise seems to force the old world I knew into the background. I find myself teetering on the edge of a decision, one that once made cannot be taken back. It could change or ruin everything that I am, everything that I will be, whether I am ready for it or not. The world I once knew is crumbling around me, and Ari is standing there, offering me a way out. But at what cost? And am I willing to pay it? Before I can fully delve into those thoughts, Ari leans forward, lifting my chin gently with her index finger. My eyes meet hers again, and I am lost in those fathomless blue depths. She speaks quietly, but firmly.
Tell me I am wrong.
At that moment, 1,000 thoughts and responses cross my mind, each one vying for a possible argument, each one of them a dead end. The weight of it all is too much to process at once. I feel like a man who once suffered thirst in the middle of the desert and is now drowning in an endless sea. But amidst the storm in my mind, a thought cuts through crystal clear. It's a truth I can no longer deny. In a quiet, reflective whisper I say, "You're not wrong." Her smile is warm, kind, almost maternal. However, there's a sharp edge underneath that cuts through the warmth.
What was that, Barddus?
Her tone is gentle, as if trying to coax it out of my soul. I reach deep within myself, trying to find that doubt. This is the last chance I have. In this moment, I can take everything back, deny everything that I have just admitted to. I could retreat back into safety, back into the reality of my miserable life I've always known. What I find instead is rage. pure and unfiltered. Anger, pain, and years of pent-up misery surged forward in a flood, filling my mind with vitriol. All of the abuse, the endless work, the ceaseless pain I have endured, it all crystallizes into a single powerful sentence, spoken with absolute surety. You are not wrong. The admission feels like a defeat in a way, yet at the same time it fills me with a sense of power. The voice in the back of my mind, the thing that was formed from years of endless indoctrination, quiets. It's as though I've taken a knife and stabbed it in the back, silencing it once and for all. In the place of those doubts, I feel a certainty and conviction filling my soul. This Imperium, it is wrong, deeply so. The corruption has cost me everything. It has been plain before my eyes this entire time. But until now, I've lacked the clarity to see it. Now Ari has given me that clarity, and it is mine to take.
You have taken the first steps, Barddus. For the first time in your life, you've made a choice that was completely your own.
She's right. All this time, the choices have been made for me. The Imperium decided all. Where we eat, what we drink, where we sleep, even who we marry and when we're allowed to have children. None of this has been my choice. Well, now I have made one, and it fills me with determination. Ari extends her hand to me, and for the slightest of moments I hesitate. But I push past and take her hand, letting her lift me up to my feet. As I stand, I feel strangely exhausted and invigorated at the same time, almost as if I'd survived a battle for my very life. The room around us feels less like a cage and more like a cocoon, a place of transformation rather than a prison. Ari watches me closely, her eyes still radiating that intense conviction, but now there are hints of genuine joy at the edges.
This is only the beginning of your freedom. I won't lie. The road ahead will not be easy, but I promise you that it will not be walked alone. We are all a part of something greater, something that will reforge this world and change everything as we know it.
Her words resonate within me, echoing the decision I just made. There's no turning back now, no retreat from the path I've embarked upon. I feel the strength of Ari's conviction, and in turn, her faith strengthens my own. I feel strangely lighter, almost as if a burden has been taken from my shoulders. The weight of endless toil and suffering is gone, taken from me by my newfound cause. As I step forward, a genuine smile crosses my face, the first in many years. This feeling, strange at first, has grown into something natural, something that feels right to me.
It's time. Time for you to join our fight and pave the way for the Liberator's arrival.
To be perfectly clear, I still don't fully understand what these Liberators even are, or what they represent for Argentum Prime. Their true nature is elusive and a complete mystery to me, but it's not them or what they represent that truly draws me to this cause. It's Ari's conviction. Her unwavering belief has drawn me to her like a moth to the flame. Her belief fosters mine, allowing it to grow. There's power in what she says and strength in the intensity to which she believes. Ari stands at the door, opening it and gesturing for me to walk through. I nod slowly as she sets a brisk pace through the hallways of the church. As we walk, the people I saw earlier part before me, bowing in respect. It's a powerful sign, a show of just how cherished she is to these people and the influence she has over them. This only solidifies my decision. There's a oneness here that the Imperium clearly lacks. We traverse through several pathways until we reach a set of stairs leading down. We follow them, and I realize that she is leading me back to the main hall of the chapel. Before long, we've returned to the atrium, the place where all of this started. The Patriarch is still there, seated regally in his throne. His presence is commanding, serene, almost otherworldly. As we approach, he looks up as if having been in deep contemplation. His gaze is fatherly as he looks upon me. A slow smile spreads across his face.
I sense your choice. It is a wise one,
he says, his voice deep and resonant. He holds out one clawed hand and gestures for me to step forward. I see them, and the sight no longer repulses me. It no longer holds any fear or disgust in my eyes. Instead, I look past them, drawing upon the Patriarch's presence and the way he seems to fill the room despite being only one man. I recognize him for what he is now, the leader of this movement, the one who set this all in motion.
Kneel,
he commands, and this time I do so without hesitation. He rises slowly from his throne, and I am struck by just how tall he is. His height dwarfs the very throne behind him. His shoulders are broad and his back is hunched, as if carrying a great weight, the pressure of leadership. The Patriarch steps down from the dais and walks towards me. He stands, a towering figure wrapped in a presence so potent that I almost choke. Yet despite this, I find a strange comfort in it. I find myself drawn to him, the power and the authority he seems to radiate.
a gift I have for you, Barddus. You have received the call, the message sent out to all who are willing to heed the words of the Star Gods.
Star Gods? This is the first time I've heard them called that. Ari called them the Liberators, but this name feels truer and makes more sense to my ears. His unearthly gaze meets mine, and in them I feel the same sense of power that I get when I look into the fathomless blue of Ari's, only orders of magnitude more powerful. Despite the difference in his physiology, I find something undeniably beautiful about him, something that goes beyond mere physical form. He is a figure of presence, a being that stands at the crossroads of destiny. He speaks again, slowly, every word measured.
Heeding the call is only the first test. Undergoing examination is the second. There is a final test. The gift of the synapse.
The words mean almost nothing to my ears. I've never heard these terms before, but despite this, I am eager to accept it.
This final test will begin with pain. But should you survive, it will bring you joy everlasting.
Finally, the thing I have been searching for. Freedom from the pain and suffering I have endured all my life. At the mention of pain there is a reluctance, a hesitation born of a deep weariness for the necessity of enduring more agony. I have endured so much already until this point. Must I endure more? Regardless of my worries, I am eager and ready. Ari has opened the door, and I am ready to walk through it willingly. I will face my fate and embrace whatever lay on the other side. I accept your gift, Patriarch. My words leaving my lips with a certainty that surprises me. I speak them not as a plea or a request, but as an affirmation of my commitment to this new path. The Patriarch's smile widens, a look of satisfaction, as if I were a slow child having said the right words. However, I can feel his approval. I resonate within it. For the first time in my entire life, I am more than just a cog in a machine. I am part of something greater, something that will change the world for the better. And for that, I am willing to pay any price and endure any pain. He smiles at me, and for the first time I notice something unsettling, yet fascinating about his physiology. His jaw. It is separated into 4 distinct mandibles, almost like that of an insect. His lips part, revealing rows of sharp teeth. At his command, I lower my head, submitting fully to him. He looms over me, his shadow enveloping all that I am. Then I hear it. A sound that sends a shiver down my spine, something like a slithering snake. I feel a sensation across my back, and then I feel a sharp pain piercing the base of my neck. It fills me with a sensation that crawls through the entirety of my flesh, setting every nerve on fire. My body goes rigid. I collapse to the floor, my muscles spasming. Cold radiates through my body, alternating with a raging fire that burns and freezes simultaneously. Tears stream down my face, and I hear myself scream. My eyes widen, and I claw at my chest. My heartbeat accelerates and my pulse tightens. It's as if the fiber of my very being is being torn out from the inside. But then suddenly, just as suddenly as it began, blessed relief washes over me. A powerful feeling washes away the fire and numbs my freezing skin. The world around me begins to fade, and for a moment, I think I'm dying. Then, something new begins to stir within me. It's a sensation unlike anything I've ever felt before. It starts out small but quickly grows, swelling into something far more powerful and profound. I hear a call, stronger and clearer than in my dream. It filters into my consciousness, resonating deep within me. I am compelled to listen to it, and I do not offer any resistance. As it deepens, I feel a connection start to form, one that transcends mere thought or emotion. There's a presence to it, vast and all-encompassing. It's not just the Patriarch who sits at the undeniable center of this connection, but also with everyone in this room. I feel it now. We are linked, every one of us. We are all bound together by this shared connection. The sensation is overwhelming at first. It's a flood of thoughts, emotions, desires, and intent. It's as if every person's singular idea is vocalized at once, shared in a space only we can hear. I am no longer alone, no longer a soul adrift in a sea of despair. This connection surpasses every sensation. It reaches deep within me, changing me in ways that I am not yet able to fully comprehend. It's overwhelming at first, the myriad of voices within making it difficult for me to maintain my sense of self amidst this vast network of minds. The feeling of it is almost too much to bear. I feel as if I might drown, losing myself in this vast collection of thoughts and feelings. But as I surrender to it, there is a certain bliss. I follow it, allowing myself to lose control. And as I do so, the connection becomes more bearable, more natural. A strange comfort settles over me, soothing the remnants of fear and doubt that still linger. There is a profound sense of belonging, a reassurance that I am no longer just a cog in the machine, but a vital part of something much larger, something infinitely more important. This new purpose fills the void within me, a void that nothing in the Imperium could ever have hoped to fill. The pain fades completely as the connection solidifies, becoming a part of me, natural as breathing. I can feel the Patriarch's approval. His pride in my acceptance is a boon to my soul. I now know that this is where I am meant to be, this the path I am meant to walk. I have been reborn in the fires of pain, and what emerges is something new, something stronger. I am Barddus, but I am also more than Barddus. I am part of a whole, a piece of a grand design that is only just beginning to unfold. And for the first time in my life, I feel truly, irrevocably complete.